Hey up my old cherubs. Today I'm going to be working on my van, my Volkswagen Crafter. And what I've got in store for you today is something I mentioned a couple of videos ago about doing a little bit of a fit of some spotlights and a switch panel. So it's a Saturday morning, it's actually a beautiful day for a change. So on this beautiful day I'm going to be fitting these. Welcome to my beautiful Volkswagen Crafter camper van. And these babies are what I'm going to be fitting to my van first. We've got this, which is the Auxbeam switch panel. I'm going to be connecting my existing leisure system to this. So this comes with a 4-switch panel, a remote control with 4 switches on the remote control. Now the remote control is kind of the thing that I was looking forward to using on this, because I can have the switch panel in the van wherever, and I can also have the remote control up on the bed near the door for when I come into the door. So it just gives more options of switching on the lights and other accessories. Now, the original plan for the switch panel was, this is where my switches are now, but my issue with fitting my lights up here, routing of the cable, because this van's already been built by myself, I was originally going to come down here and down the back of this into my electrical under the bed. Now I figured I can't do that. There's no access from here down, because I had previously drilled an hole to get some lighting in there, but I only made the hole so big and it's full of insulation. What I've decided to do is not use this switch panel anymore. So temporary, I'm going to leave it as an extra switch panel, which I'll probably never use. In the future, remove these switches and then just blank all this off and recarpet it. And then I'm going to put the switches just here at the base of the bed, and then I'm going to have the remote control over here next to the door. Right, this is my electrical system, and although this could be a debatable electrical system, this system has always worked for me. I've never had an issue with it. We haven't got that much space down here, but as you can see there is a small space here. If we maybe fit the control panel down here, that's the actual brains of the unit, we can then wire this around into the existing MIDI fuse box, and then that will be all hooked up there. We'll get a negative onto the bus bar, and the only thing we then need to do is come off my existing fuse board and basically take off what I want to work on the Auxbeam switch panel. So we can just extend the cable and run it around and wire it straight in. Sounds simple, hopefully it'll be simple. Now the switch panel itself, I decided to put sort of behind here, and that should enable me to run a cable straight round, and that will also reduce the length, the actual run of the cable. I'm not sure how long it is, but I'm going to take a good guess that it's around 2 meters. And this is the other reason why I am not putting that switch panel up here to replace these switches, because one, I can't get down here. The other place I would have run it is through the cupboards, along here, down the back, and then down into here. That's going to be quite a big run, and I don't think that cable's going to reach. Right, let's do a little box opening. So what comes inside? So you get all your instructions, you get your stickers for the panel, an Auxbeam sticker, manual. It's a one-handed job here, this. Come on. It's a sexy little 4-switch panel. Very nice and little, so you can pop that anywhere really. I opted for this small panel rather than a big one. One, I don't need all them switches, and two, exactly that what I've just said, goes anywhere. So this is a control box, so I'll just pop this one open. So these come labelled as 30, 20, 10 and a 5 amp, but you can actually change them and use them exactly how you wish. So don't just think because that's a 30 you've got to have your high powered there and then your low powered down this end. You can actually just change them and make them all 10 amps, 15 amps or whatnot. So how this works is, you can see these two terminals here. So you've got your pos and your neg on there. You can run them straight up to your bus bar or straight to your battery with an inline fuse. This is kind of the reason why I wanted this in my van. The little remote to turn lights on, off, whatever else, can turn anything on and off. My preference is just for lights, which is primarily the Auxbeam sort of system, selling lights and stuff, so, but this is leisure side for me. There is also an app that you can control everything from, and we'll come to that later because I'll have a look at that, see how that works and see what I think to it. Now this is the cable I need to run, another reason why I'm moving the switch panel, because I don't think this is going to be long enough, but I'll have a look, I'll let you know how long this cable is. These are the power cables, which I think will be perfect for me. They'll look around a 10mm cable. I haven't got anything really high power that's going to be running off this, so these are going to be perfect. You do have a 60 amp trip to put in on the positive side, but I prefer to use fuses, just like what's in there. So one of these spare will be running this switch system. So what else do we get in the box? Got some little piggyback fuses to go up to your fuse board. We won't need them for this install, but I will use these at a later date. Lots of screws, so it looks like a little sticker for the actual switch panel, but I really want to screw them in, so I'll be having a look at that, see if there's a bracket in here maybe. Here we go, the bracket, so we'll be using the bracket. Yep, I just found them, but thanks. Always read first. You also get this little antenna that attaches to this box, and I have no clue what that's for. Enough talking, let's get this bleeding thing in. So I made this base, I put it here, but I don't want to remake a cable. I want to use this. So I'm just going to move this over this way a little bit. There's plenty of room. But I've had to make this base. I need to make this stand proud. So yes, cables through here and then along the back of the cables. But I'm going to move that over here. I don't think it's going to be long enough. Let's have a look. So let's just say, for example, that comes in here and then up to that. Ah, might actually work. That could work. Let's give it a shot. See, tidy. Like so. Let's have a look. It's perfect, bruv. Sexy. So I need to run that negative up in there and over into this. I need some 13 or 14mm spanner. That's straight. Let's have a look. It looks about straight. And it's not finished yet, but we'll just pop that on. That's alright there. Okay, so that should have power now, because we've got the fuse up there. We've got a 60 amp fuse that's replacing this 60 amp shut off, just because it's easier for my install and I've got that multi-fuse holder. Otherwise, use this, it'll be perfectly fine. A lot of these off Amazon are shit. These ones are really good. These ones are properly rated as far as I'm aware. The Amazon ones, we don't really know what ratings they are, and I'm sure they are underrated. We've now got to connect this one here. This is to connect up to the switch panel, and then it connects through this cable, which I can now confirm is 3 meters. Now that will plug in Tada and then feed back through there, and we'll feed it through wherever we need to go with it. So you can see that little screw just popping through there, a little bit more. So that's just coming from the back, and then just trying to align these up. So if I get this one in, let's go again. Right, okay. So, alright, it should just be enough. Let's have a look. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. That one's pulled in tight. Maybe if I loosen this one a little bit, I might be able to get it to move over. Ah, there. Come on. Is that it? Yeah? Yes! It's just a bit tight, man, but it's doing it. We're in. We are winning. This better be aligned up right now. It's a little bit to the left, but just seems to be slightly off that. But then again, the fridge isn't, that's not bang centre to the fridge. I mean, from a distance, I don't think you'll know. It's actually central to the fridge. It's this that's not centre. I wonder if I can move that after. I'm happy with it. I think it's the USB that's not centre. So I'm going to move that another time. But I'm not that fussed about it. Right, so all I need to do now is connect this cable up to the other cable in the garage, and then this should be all done. So what I do want to do is I want to actually use the switch panel, and I want to look at the features, see what I think to it, and then I'll actually do a small review on it. But also I need to do the spotlight fit, and that'll be another video. So what I'll do is, in a minute, I'll tell you my review, and I'll tell you what I think to it, and I'll tell you the features of this switch panel. So here is my review on this panel. So, what do I really think to this switch panel from Auxbeam? Well, I absolutely love it. And the reason why I love it is because it works like a 3-way switch. Now, this model comes with a remote control, and it comes with a Bluetooth app that you can control from your phone. You've also got the switch panel itself, so that's 3 ways that you can control your lights. Now, as I said, this is fitted to my leisure side, so I can control basically anything on my leisure side 3 different ways. I've had people come to me before and say, can you put me a 2-way switch in so I can switch my lights on from the back of the vehicle and from the front of the vehicle. Now this solves a massive problem. When a van's already been built and you haven't got this, running cables can be a nightmare. So to have the advantage of being able to turn your lights on from anywhere around your van or outside your van and from 3 different places, that is just a game changer. So how does this switch panel work? So one of the first things, this switch panel keeps a memory of your last chosen selection. So if you have all your lights on and you turn the main light off, all your lights will go off together. The next time you press the main switch, all the lights will come back on. So inside the box, you get plenty of stickers to mark up your switch panel and also mark up your remote control. Now, the only problem I had with this was I couldn't find water pump. What I did find was fish box. Now, fish, swim in water, gotta be water pump. Now, I will say that I found it very easy to use and also very simple to set up. It was easy to install. The app for this system is fairly easy to set up. There is a QR code inside the manual, so you can actually just get your phone out, scan the QR code, and then you can download the app straight from there. Once you've installed the app, you can do a variety of things. You can change the colour, the labels of your switch panel, and I did find water pump inside the app, but again, that could be my fault. I might not have seen it and it might be there. You can also control the lighting modes from the app. You can do this from the panel as well, but if you've got the app, it is so much easier. You can use the traditional toggle on off, then you can change this to a momentary switch, which is just hold the button and it works, you let go and it doesn't. The other mode is pulsed. Now, I'd say that you'd use pulse in the leisure side of your vehicle, possibly for maybe a party at a van festival or something on them lines. So there's everything in the box that you need to fit this. There's even a little Phillips screwdriver for you to access the back of the remote control. You do get a spare battery as well. I was quite shocked to see there was a spare battery. There's also a bracket to mount the actual control panel that controls everything, not the switch panel. Now, as you saw, I made my own because that's just what I wanted to do. I wanted it to fit in with my install, but the bracket's perfectly easy for you to use. That's also the same for the actual switch panel. There's 2 ways to mount this panel. Now, one is with the sticky pad that comes in the box, and the second one is the actual bracket, which stands proud, so it will sit off and it won't be sat flush. I do like that way sometimes, but it depends whereabouts you're fitting it as to how that'll look. Now, again, for myself, I chose a different way to mount this because personally I wanted flat mount and I wanted it fixed. So I found some M3, I think, screws that was just the right length, and I went from the back of my 80mm ply, marked the holes with a little template, drilled some little holes and put them screws, and that is permanently there now and it is more secure and flat mount. So all in all, do I like the Auxbeam switch panel? Yes, totally do like it. It's going to benefit me in my vehicle because I can now switch my lights on from the back, the side, inside. I've got so many different ways of turning my lights on and off. Just makes it so much easier, more flexible for me and my family while we're in the van. The actual units themselves are really good quality. You've got additional fuses, the screwdrivers, the brackets, you've got so many different things. I didn't use everything that came in the box. That was purely down to my personal preference. You can buy extra remote controls. Now this is another, if you wanted to have one of these on the side door and one at the back, that's also a benefit to a lot of people. But already, if you go for the version with the app and the remote control, you've got the switch panel, so you've got 3 ways of changing your lights. I don't think there's any need for an extra remote control, but the option is there. Now, could this system be improved? The only thing that I thought personally that it could do with, the remote controls have a magnet inside of them. You can just put the remote onto anything metal in your vehicle and it will stay there. Now, the thing is, a lot of vans in the leisure side don't have anything metal for you to have this to fasten to. So what I would say is, a couple of brackets to put the remote on would be a massive benefit. What I did was, I got a couple of big washers, countersunk them and put a screw, so I have one of these at the side door. I could also put one of these at the back door. I can now mount my remote control the front of my vehicle and also anywhere else that I put one of these homemade brackets. A couple of brackets in the box, which was maybe same shape as the remote control, would be a massive benefit. My rear doors are not carpeted, so I can actually attach it to my rear doors and I can turn my lights off from right at the side of my bed before I go to sleep and then turn them back on in the morning if I'm up early. I would recommend to go for a bigger switch panel with more switches, because then you can adapt this as you move on with your van and add things to your van. An outside light would be a benefit to a lot of vehicles, and you can just turn your outside light on from your remote control. If you're under the awning or something like that, there's big benefits to things like this. This remote control and app, the whole system will really work for you. So on that note, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and I will see you soon with another video.